am Mijali Marcano, Technical Manager at HPD Collaborative. And today I'm going to go through HPD basic concepts and a demo of the HPD Builder and the HPD repository. And if we have time, some questions. This webinar is going to be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel so that you can reference to it later on. So what are health product declarations? A health product declaration is a public report of the chemical substances and the materials that are in the product as delivered to the job site. So the focus is the final product. And these contents are reported with the associated human and environmental health hazard information. HPDs are voluntary and are self-reported by the manufacturer of the product or by the responsible party, the seller of the product, for example. HPDs are self-declared, but they can be third-party verified. So HPDs are part of our material health tool suite, the format for reporting health product declarations. Our tool suite offers started with the HPD Open Standard, which has all the guidelines and instructions for creating HPDs. HPDs are created using the software HPD Builder, and the data of the HPD can serve as a first stone on other certifications and programs in the industry for which you can use your data to pre-check and check alignments for other programs. And once the HPD is ready, you will publish the HPD, and this will be hosted in the HPD repository, which is our database. And from there, the HPD data is also shared with other databases through APIs, and which provides for the visibility of this effort that the manufacturers are making. So how are HPDs created? We can set 5 stages in the process of creating an HPD. So first you have to review the HPD Open Standard, the manufacturer, our resources to understand the requirements. Then you will define the scope. What type of threshold can you report on? We'll go in a little detail further. And the type of inventory method that you would like to use. So once you have the scope, you can gather the data. And this is usually the stage that takes longer because you need to find out what is in your product if you don't know, if you don't manufacture your product, or if you know where the chemicals that made up one of the products that you source, then you have to find out what is in the products that you use to make your product. And sometimes you need to contact tier 2, tier 3 suppliers to get this information. So this will be the stage that will define whether you can actually publish an HPD or not. Sometimes based on the efforts that you make in these, on the achievements actually that you make in this stage, then you can redefine the scope and decide maybe you cannot report as more and at the more detailed level, but still create an HPD that is aligned with the HPD Open Standard. Once you have all the data gathered, then you can build the HPD using the HPD Builder and then publish the HPD in the repository. So to report HPDs in the HPD Builder, there are 2 options to access the builder. You can either become a member of HPDC, and there are 2 levels of membership, affiliate or general membership. There is no difference regarding access to the builder, just the number of participants in the account, but both give you unlimited access to the builder, meaning if you have 100 HPDs to publish, you can publish 100 HPDs with the membership. Now, if you need less HPDs, we have an option of a 5-pack, which is our bundle pack. And for $375, you can buy 5 tokens and create 5 HPDs. Now I'm going to go to the demo right away. And I'm going to start actually with how to find our resources, which I think is important. You know, you have to create an HPD, and following those stages, let's just go to the resources first. So First, we have, of course, the HPD Open Standard, which is where all the instructions are. And this is a PDF file, and it's very long, but you can find all details of every single field that has to be reported in the HPD with descriptions of what this means and reference to other sections as needed. The portions of this standard are also in the builder, and I will show you where. But just wanted to make sure that you're aware that the document exists and it's the go-to instructions to create a HPD. So we also have the the manufacturer user guide, which you can download on our website, and it's another PDF file that has some explanations based on the experience of manufacturers on how clarifications on areas on how to report for each of these fields. But we also develop a quick start training, which is something that also has all the steps and details for how to create HPDs, and you can access. It's free, and it has a step-by-step process for how to go through each of the stages. Additionally, we have a YouTube channel where we post webinars and other information that you can use as resources. And anytime in the process, you can go to our support portal. We have frequently asked questions there by topic. So we have the HPD Open Standard, questions about the builder, questions about verification. And you can also, if your question is not answered, you can create a support ticket and contact us directly. And sometimes if you're really struggling, we can even just schedule a call and help you out to get started. The important is to get started. All right. So once you have started to gather the data, and this is something that the guides will tell you what you need, then you access the HPD builder. This is how the builder looks like, and I'm going to go out. You can register, create a new account, but you will only be able to unlock the builder after you become a member of or purchase tokens. So once you log in, you will see the dashboard and a new product option. And here's where you will add the name of the product. And then you need to create the record. And this is the first question. Do I do a nested material or do I do a basic inventory? And we have the two formats. And the basic inventory will report all the contents and the product together as a mix. So let's say a paint formulation. While the nested inventory will report the ingredients of each of the materials or parts that make up your product. And this is recommended really because it provides more detail to the user of the HPD. So an architect reading the HPD can tell, okay, this chemical is part of this coating, or this material is part of a tabletop and not in the legs. So this is the ideal content inventory. However, if your product is a very basic formulation, I don't know, 100% wood, you can perfectly report this in a basic inventory. So once you create a record, you will see this as a link here, and you will access the fields. And the sections of the HPDs are on the left, and the entry fields are on the right. And in each page, you will have a compliance inspector that will tell you what's missing. And this is like a street light. If it's red, then it's something that is required to publish an HPD. If it's yellow, it might be something that you need, but it might be something that you don't need. So please check the standard and make sure you report it accordingly. If it's green, then you're good to go. Of course, this HPD is empty, so everything's in red or yellow. As I mentioned earlier, the standard is also here in the builder, and you can access in each of the sections by clicking help. And here you will find the fields and the descriptions for each of the fields that you have to fill in each of the sections. So additionally, we have a weight inspector. And this is because you are reporting 100% of the product. It is required that you report 100% of the product. And to help a manufacturer make sure that it has reported at least an average of the total percent of the product, then we have added this. If it's red, it means that you have not reported the minimum weight required to publish. And in addition, we have the pre-checks, which I'll show you at the end. So you will navigate through each of the sections, enter the data, and as you go, then you will be compliance with each of the sections. I'm going to go really quickly through the fields because this is an intro webinar, and we have the manufacturer quick start training with more details, but I'll show you how it works. So for example, this first field, which is the master format classification, you can find it by number, or you can just type the word and you will get the options that inserted. Product type is optional. You can select the product type if the classification does not describe the popular classification of your product. Then you need a product description, a commercial product description, and then the threshold. So what's the threshold? It's part of the scope of the HPD. And what this means is how much detail are you going to report on the contents of your HPD? 100 ppm will mean that you will report all contents that weigh at least 0.01% of your total product. So this is the more detailed reporting. If you select 1000, then it means that you will report all contents that weigh 0.1% or more. And I'm making emphasis on these two because these are the options that LEED requires to be aligned with the material ingredients disclosure and optimization credit. So either option will make your HPD eligible to support the credit scoring, but 100% will be ideal because it's more detail, more transparency, and it might also help you qualify to support the project team in another point option in LEED, the option 2. So once you save this information, then you can see that the compliance goes green. And that's how you will go through each of the sections. The content inventory is entered in the substance, materials, and polymers. And even though there are guidelines for the fields in this section, and in addition, it is suggested that you check the special conditions policies. And this can be found on our website. Best practices, special conditions. Why? Because if your product has any of these content, biological materials, electronics, from specific hazards, geological, metal alloys, fasteners, mixed recycled content, or polymers, then each of these type of materials have a special way of reporting them. And the guidelines are not in the standard, they're in each of these documents. So if you identify any of the materials in your product, just come here and review them. Just follow the steps. There is also a dedicated section for polymers outside of substances and materials. And this is because it was way more different than the other entries. And because polymers are the only materials or substances that can be reported without having an identifier or with having an identifier. I just wanted to make sure that this is reviewed because sometimes manufacturers tend to report with everything together under substances, and that's not the right way to do. We have a differentiation between substances, materials, and polymers in our standard, and the special conditions must be followed. Also, some of them will be beneficial to you when seeking alignment with lead requirements or other programs. The other sections is certifications. This is self-explanatory. Really, the only certification field that needs to be entered is for VOC emissions. Even if you have not certified your product, just indicate it here. The certification is not required. It's only required that you report whether you have it or not. We have another sections for accessories, which cover any other products that you recommend using with your product, either for installation, maintenance, cleaning, and just need to report it here and indicate if you wish to provide this information to the architect. General notes are just general notes. Any other information that you consider relevant for the user. And then the last section will be the contact information. And here you need to add a real name of the person that is responsible for the data that is published in this HPD. Additionally, we have the program pre-check, and we start with the lead pre-check. You can subscribe to the pre-check, and then the builder will let you know whether you're aligned with the lead requirements or not. And in here, because the HPD is empty, it will tell you, okay, all these fields are missing, and you need to complete them if you would like to be pre-checked for lead. We will be working on a pre-check for lead V5 as well, and will be available in the builder. In addition to lead, then you can use your HPD data to check your alignment with other programs, which is in our program pre-check. We have currently checks for Perkins and Will Precautionary Initiative, Green Seal for paints, coatings, and stains, Bora Chemical of Concern, and Reset. If you want to learn more about each of these programs, you can click here and read what they're looking at when selecting products for their projects. You may subscribe and see the feedback here. I will show you with an HPD that has data because this one is not complete. And it's informative for you. If you would like to send it down to the repository, you can remain subscribed, or you can just unsubscribe and you will not send any information. We have an option for reporting antimicrobial content. This is optional, but suggested for those with antimicrobials in their products. And recently we added the PFAS attestation. And this is also recommended for those products that are suspected to contain PFAS, or you have the knowledge that you don't have it. Again, these are optional. They're not part of, they're not requirements in the standard, but highly suggested. So once you are ready, and I'm going to go to an HPD that has data. Hold on, I have a chat here. Okay, good. All right, so, sorry, jumping. Okay, so once you have the HPD complete, then everything is green. It's taking a little bit too low, too high. Okay, everything is green, and you would like to check the results for the pre-checks. Let's go to lead. Now it's telling me that I am aligned with lead. I have passed the pre-check, and then the program pre-checks will let me know. Let me enable them. Subscribe. Say subscribe, and it will tell me whether you're aligned with Perkins and Will or not. And in this case, I am aligned because I don't have any chemicals in the precautionary list. But if I were to have a chemical, then, for example, the Bora, I'm also aligned. Green Seal, I'm not aligned because my product is not a paint or a coating, and all chemicals are fine. Again, this is informative for the manufacturer. So once the HPD is ready, you're going to go back to Contact Info and Publication and hit the Publish button. Okay, this This is a test for a verified HPD. Let's go to here. I want to show you what will. Okay, something's going on with the basic inventory. Let's see if it downloads. I'm not sure. Let me refresh. All right. It was loading just now. Let's find the new one. So you're going to the contact info publication, and if the HPD is not complete, then you will get the notification of which section of the HPD you have to review, where is the weight quality inspector, accessories, certifications, and then once you add information to each of the sections, for example, then you will see how these warnings will be removed and so on. Once you hit publish, then the HPD will be available right away in the product page. So you're going to go back to this page where you created the record, click the repository tab, and then from here you can click the download button and get your HPD. From here you can download it and send it to the users, and it will also be added to the HPD repository, which is our database. This process takes like 5 to 20 minutes usually, and then you can search for your HPD and find it in the database. The repository has filters by CSI section, division, the product name, the version, and also the lead pre-check result. When you click here, then you can download your HPD. Add your email, download your HPD, and it's the same PDF that you got from the builder. Now, what happens when this HPD is added? It is also the data of the HPD is available digitally in an API and is shared with other databases that are connected. So you will not only get published in the repository, but your HPD will also be displayed in other databases such as Ecomedes, the Sustainable Mine Transparency Catalog, and that way architects that use those databases to obtain documentation for lead projects, well projects, or other type of projects can find your HPD as well. Your HPD will also be displayed in the HPD dashboards, which are the new version of the HPD repository. And if you're a member of HPDC, you will also be able to access the HPD dashboards. There are more advanced filters in this option. For example, you can find HPDs that are free of the red list, LBC red list, and free of GSPI 6 classes. And you can check your own HPD by going to the dashboard and searching and see whether your HPD is free of the red list or not. And here you can find other HPDs as well that have been third-party verified or prepared by approved preparers, and combine this with the regular filters in the repository.